Pulse the program goes to Ann Arbor, Michigan. What is going on with Jim Harbaugh and the boys? And if y'all are new to this operation, we did not misspell program. We said exactly what we meant, program with the U, because teams that win big games in November, that win New Year's Six Bowls, that win their conference title, they're programs. That's what Michigan has been the last 2 years. So the way that we look at this, we take a pulse of two things. One, the fan base. Hey, what's going on? People in Ann Arbor, how are you feeling going into 2023? And then as best we can tell, what's the pulse internally? What's the feel within that building right now as they go into 2023? So without further ado, the pulse at Michigan, the pulse of the program at Michigan is let's dance. That's how the fan base feels. Because for so long for Michigan, it was like, man, if we could just beat Ohio State. They went 8 years in a row. They hadn't beat the Buckeyes. And now the last two, they're 2 for 2. They're hearing the music playing. Beats bumping a little bit. The BPMs are starting to pick up. They're like, all right, let's dance. Because they feel like we want to go win the big one now. And we'll talk about the internal feel in a minute. But they've tasted a little bit now, has that fan base. They want more. They got the appetizer. They got the appetizer. They loved it. They got it 2 years in a row, actually. Made the college football playoff. Probably woulda, shoulda, coulda last year against TCU. You do enough to lose that game. That's not going to be good enough anymore for that fan base. They're trying to get their party on here in Houston. They're trying to go win a not just a college football playoff game. They're trying to go win a national title, and they have been very open about that. For the first time in a while now, the music is playing in Ann Arbor. And that fan base is getting to dance. And they love it. Don't stop the party. Don't stop the music. Let's dance. Let's keep this thing going. Let's keep this dance going. Let's keep this show going all the way to a national title. That is the feel within that fan base. And as these things usually go, that same pulse overlaps into what's going on internally. Because internally at Michigan, they're like, hey, let's dance in the sense that you know where to find us. Anywhere, anytime, any place. We'll play in the parking lot at a TGI Fridays. We do not care. Let's dance. We're here. We're making it very, very clear what we're after. National title. We got the Big Ten ring. We got that 2 years in a row. Cool. We want the big one. And they feel like they have everything to do it, and for good reason. They got a top 5 returning production in the country at Michigan. Got your quarterback back who has dynamic ability throwing the football. Dynamic in the run game, the best backfield in the country, a bunch back on defense, continuity at the coordinator spot, more or less. Got Jim Harbaugh running the show. The culture is solid. Everything is there for Michigan. They're not hiding from anybody. They are the one who knocks at this point in time. It's them in Georgia. Like, they've been very, very open about it. They have a beat Georgia period at Michigan. And I love Jim Harbaugh for that, setting the standard, making it very, very clear. Hey, you want to go win the big one? Probably got to go beat Georgia. Because they got the cup right now, 2 years in a row. All right, you want to be the best, got to go beat the best. We're going to work on it every single day in practice. I love that for Michigan. I love they're setting their sights on that. Because I think there's some legitimacy to the whole concept that you have to be the first one to see it. And Michigan, even when they weren't beating Ohio State, they were seeing it. There was that confidence. I remember clear as day going into that game against Ohio State. Michigan wasn't doing yapping, but they were doing some talking in the sense that, hey, all we know is beating Ohio State right now, was what J.J. McCarthy said. So we're trying to keep that rolling. And there was a feeling of, wow, Michigan really feels good about this. They have a lot of confidence. And that's not necessarily uncommon with great competitors. But even so, to say something and then to make good on it, to back it up, they didn't feel differently after that game than they did before that game. Now, don't get it twisted. It was nice to win. It was nice to beat Columbus as a stadium. It was nice to beat Ohio State. Like, they felt good silencing everybody there. But even so, it wasn't like shock and awe and party. It was like, cool, we did what we're supposed to do. Let's roll. Big Ten title, national title. Was the feel last year as well, but they're chasing it this year. It's no secret now for Michigan. Let's dance. Let's do this. That's exactly what they're feeling. So how does this happen? How do they go and accomplish their goals? Before we get to that, make sure you're locked in, subscribe before you get out of here, all right? Make sure you subscribe to this channel before the end of the show. Thank you so much for that. Pushing to 100K, come be a part of it, all right? Thank you for that. Okay, now how does this happen for Michigan? How do they get it done? I think it goes back to the way they can attack. And this is something that we've talked about a couple of times for Michigan within this show, something that we've, made clear with how we feel about the Wolverines, but a lot of what they're going to do this coming season with achieving their goals is going to be on the pass game. Notice what I did not say. I did not say it's on J.J. McCarthy. Now, the pass game, as a result, responsibility probably shifts to him quite a bit, being the quarterback, and I promise you he wants it no other way. But even so, you got to have some receivers really step up here. Colston Loveland at tight end, too. I think he really needs to be a guy that jumps into a new gear as a sophomore next year. He popped off against Ohio State, man. I'll tell you what, I think that kid's a player. Have a breakout season this coming year. But for Michigan last year, they averaged 219 pass yards a game, good for 79th in the country. Now, what that stat doesn't say is how much they ran for. They ran for over 200 as well. So when you're running for over 200, you're probably not just airing it out. But to me, it's all about having the ability to be able to throw the ball deep, to be able to keep the defense honest. Because when it comes to what Michigan's going to do and when they end up playing a Georgia or a Bama or a LSU or whoever it is, the trenches is going to be what it comes down to, right? Can you keep a team from stacking the box? And when they do stack the box, can you make them pay? We say it a lot on here, and I don't mean to repeat myself too much, but a lot of y'all that are new to the show, here's what I say about Michigan. They remind me a lot of a boxer. They have a tremendous right hook. The right hook is knockout 9 times out of 10. All right? And what makes Michigan scary is if they get that counter move down, if they get a jab to go with the right hook, they get an uppercut to go with that right hook, like that's when I'm like, okay, I don't know how you fight Michigan. I don't know how you defend them offensively because the defense is going to be good, should hold down their end of the bargain. Top 10 defense in the country last year, bring back a lot of the boys. Like, we should be in good shape defensively. Offensively, if we're able to throw that right hook whenever we want, but also have an equally strong left jab, like, okay now, how do you defend us? Even more so going into the game, you're probably having to account for both. You can't just stack the box from the first snap. You got to make sure that you are playing us honest the entire game, all 4 quarters. And if they can do that, that's the next evolution, I think, for this offense, for J.J. McCarthy, for Cornelius Johnson, for the rest of that receiving core. Like, that would be the world that I think you want to live in if you're Jim Harbaugh and have that attack available for you. It's all about options, all about keeping the opposition off balance. But for Michigan, the pulse internally, the pulse of that fan base, music is playing now. They're feeling good. I don't know if it's like a house beat maybe. It's like, I think that's typically what goes on in the Break household while they're cooking dinner. That's kind of the jam that's playing. Same thing at Michigan. They are dancing right now with that fan base, and they're looking for a dance for anybody that'll take them when it comes to the field within that team. They're ready to roll. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.